here is another example of a Republican being asked, did Trump lose in 2020? And he won't answer. We talked yesterday and last week about how J.D. Vance was asked this question and he didn't answer it during the VP debate. After that, Corey Lewandowski was asked this question and he didn't answer it. And then J.D. Vance was asked it during a town hall sort of event by a member of the media, and he didn't answer it. And now we have Senator Tom Cotton, interviewed by Kristen Welker, asked again, did Trump lose? And he says just about everything you can imagine other than yes, and other than answering the question. Let's take a listen.
Different. I want to talk about one of the big moments this week from the vice presidential debate. We just played it in the open when Senator J.D. Vance refused to say that Donald Trump lost the 2020 election. I want to put this question to you, Senator, just to put this to rest. Can you say definitively here and now that Donald Trump did lose the 2020 election?
Kristen, Joe Biden was elected president in 2020. It was an unfair election in many ways. I mean, you had states that were changing their election practices or election laws, sometimes in violation of their constitution. You had networks combining with big tech to suppress what we now know to be a truthful story about Hunter Biden's laptop and the evidence that it exposed about Biden family corruption. So obviously Joe Biden was elected president. We know that in part because—
But did Trump lose?
Joe Biden was elected, Kristen. I mean, there's a process by which we elect presidents. There's votes in November. You have an electoral college vote. You certify the election, and then you have the inauguration. Joe Biden was elected president. Everything has gone to hell in a handbasket as a result of it.
As you know, though, I mean, it has been stated that this was one of the most secure elections in U.S. history. But do you just not want to say that Trump lost? Why not just say the simple—
Kristen,
if Biden is president, can you just simply say Trump lost?
Joe Biden was elected president in 2020. That's why we have runaway inflation. That's why we have more than 10 million illegals in this country. And to go back to the point about the 2020 election, it was very irregular. You had networks, to include this networks, conspiring with big tech to suppress evidence of Biden family corruption. You had Democratic states and cities like Pennsylvania, like Philadelphia, changing their election practices on the fly. That's one reason why President Trump and the Republican National Committee is so focused on election integrity in this election, to make sure that Democrats aren't doing things like they're trying to do in Pennsylvania, counting absentee and mail-in ballots that don't have dates or that have the wrong date.
And there's no proof that that happened. And again, just to be clear, as I said initially, Trump did take his case to court more than 60 times, didn't win those cases.
Okay, so he played that game. These guys and gals love to say it's a game when the media asks us, did Trump lose? The game is when they say, not Trump lost, but Biden became the president. Biden was elected president. The game they're playing is they can't deny that Biden is really the president and he's really the one in the Oval Office. That's too crazy. There are Trumpists who do it. You go to Trump rallies like we've done, you talk to people, some of them say, Obama is really the president, or Obama, or Trump is still really the president, or there are some of them deluded enough to say that someone other than Biden is the president. Senators like Tom Cotton, they know I can't go around saying Biden's not the president. But what I can do is simply say, Biden's the president and stop there. Implied in that is that while Biden was inaugurated, he only got his 270 electoral votes through some kind of cheating, or there was fraud, or whatever the case may be. Now, Tom Cotton also says, states changed a lot of laws. They did that legally. They love to say they changed laws outside of what the Constitution allows. The truth is, they changed laws about mail-in and absentee voting as allowed during a health emergency, which there was at the time, the COVID pandemic. They don't have to like it, and they don't, even though now they're taking advantage of it and saying, vote early, vote by mail, do whatever, just vote. But it is not true that anything illegal was done. It is allowed, in the case of a health emergency, to change the rules around absentee ballot or early voting without involving the legislature. That is absolutely okay. And then finally, when they talk about, we know that networks suppressed the big story about Hunter Biden. That story exposed nothing about the Biden family corruption because nothing has been proven about Biden family corruption. Ultimately, what they want you to believe is that if people had seen Hunter Biden's penis and whatever he was up to with, I guess, prostitutes, that you would have voted for Trump instead of Biden. If that's true about you, if you would have voted for Trump instead of Biden had you only seen Hunter Biden's penis, that is some really weird shit, to once again quote George W. Bush 2 shows in a row. If they simply said, Trump lost, yeah, that's it, Trump lost. We're going to win this time. I wish Trump had won, but he lost. This question would go away. They can't bring themselves to say it out loud because they are performing for an audience of one, and that one is Donald Trump. As I said yesterday, the danger is if they convince enough people that Trump really won 2020 and it was stolen, they might get more people to go along with, tolerate, or even donate to Trump to try to steal this November election. That's what we have to make sure doesn't happen. On the bonus show today, I will tell you what I'm doing in Vegas, what happened on my flight here, a lot of interesting hijinks. We're going to talk about a Philadelphia restaurant that has banned a Republican because they were wrongly told that a fundraiser for the Republican was actually a fundraiser for ending autism. And the Bitcoin bros are feeling betrayed by Trump. Why? Because Trump's doing everything for himself, as he always does. All of those stories on today's bonus show. Don't miss it. Sign up at joinpacman.com. And please, 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 please clap. Please order my forthcoming book, The Echo Machine, at davidpacman.com/echo or anywhere books, ebooks, or audiobooks are sold. And then go to davidpacman.com/free book stuff to get your free stuff with the book.
Donald Trump has made it clear in a Truth Social post that if he gets elected, he will prosecute people in response to imaginary voter fraud using the Justice Department as his personal tool for revenge. And it's crazy how conservative news outlets are framing this story, like this headline from Ben Shapiro's Daily Wire, which says Governor Burgum defends Trump against leftist outrage over his demand for fair elections. Meanwhile, when independent media outlet Mother Jones is reporting on the same story, their headline is The Trump Plan to Prosecute Election Officials and Suppress the Vote. So you get a totally different idea of the story depending on who's reporting it. Our sponsor, Ground News, makes it really easy to see these differences. For every news story, Ground News shows me a breakdown of how each outlet is framing the story, who owns the outlet, what their political bias is, so you can make up your own mind. I can also follow Ground News' dedicated 2024 presidential election page for each candidate, which is an amazing tool right now just to sort out fact from fiction on the race. And my viewers get 40% off the same unlimited access Vantage plan that I use when you go to ground.news/Pacman. The link is in the description.